Okay, so welcome to my channel. I've been doing quite a bit of readings and not that many talks. So we're going to bring those talks back in. And the first talk that I'm going to be talking about here today is why do I trust tarot reading? Like what got me into it and why do I trust it? Okay, and I'm going to explain that to you in this video right now. We're gonna get into it. So I discovered tarot when I was probably 13 or 14 years old. And the way I got into it was I was just a guy, a kid, doing my thing, doing whatever I do, you know. And my mom was very into the fairy world. She was very into like, how do you explain that? How do I say that? How do I say she was into fairies? Well, my mom was into fairies. That's what she liked to do. She liked to collect fairy statues and fairy books and fairy spells and all this stuff. And after her and my father got divorced, she ended up really diving hard into the magical, mystic, occult world. And that's how I got introduced to it. She had this fairy tarot deck that she would start using, and it was when I was like 13 or 14, and so she asked me if she could do a reading on me. And so I obliged. I said, okay, yeah, sure, whatever this is, okay. And it's my mom, so I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'll listen to you, whatever you have to say, I'll listen. And so she read my cards, and I remember pulling the Knight of Pentacles. It's the first card I ever pulled. And there was this little itty bitty booklet that came with the cards, and she still has them today. And I read the Knight of Pentacles, and it just was exactly who I wanted to be. Exactly who I wanted to be. And so I was interested, and I asked her. I was inquisitive too. I said, what is this stuff? Oh, fortune telling cards? Oh, that's phony. Those don't work. I mean, this was me back then when I was that old. But there was something in my mind, something in the back of my head that just like, I just needed to know. Like, it was so strange to me how these magical cards could actually exist in reality, because back then, I was so stuck on how reality is reality and fantasy is fantasy, and the two should just be separated. At all times, they should just be separated. And so when I started to get my cards read and be opened up to that world, it was completely new to me. And it was everything that I ever wanted. You know, growing up as a kid, I did want it to be a magical world. I wanted everything around me to be magical and really magic. Like, I wanted to be able to cast spells and see fairies and talk to gnomes and predict the future and do all of this crazy stuff I saw in cartoons and movies. And this was a gateway. And I seen that gateway for the first time when I pulled that card and I read that description. And it was my mom who was doing it, so I trusted her. I trusted that she was giving me the right information, and I trusted the information that I read in the thing because it was exactly what I wanted to be. It was just a powerful moment for me, but it wasn't really like I recognized it right away. You know, I had that powerful moment, but then I put the cards back down. I said, okay, that was cool, and I moved right on. It wasn't until I had my first LSD trip a year later that I barged into my mother's room and I started asking her, like, while on LSD, about all this stuff. I started asking her about the tarot cards. Where did they come from? Where was the origin? Who made them? How did you know that these were going to be the cards? Okay, there's actually like a fire starting in my apartment right now. Okay, there's a literal fire starting here. Hold up. Okay, I put some incense in the trash, and it was burning, and it's still burning, and I'm getting it. Yeah. Okay. Smells like burnt paper right now because I just burned some paper towels. Anyways, let's keep on going. So here I was about 14 years old. I took some LSD. I went into my mom's room. I started asking her all of the questions. Where did it come from? Where did you find it? Who taught you? How did you figure out this information? Where can I go online? She started talking to me about the tarot, how it has no origin, how we haven't been able to discover where it actually has come from. We started talking about Jungian philosophy. We started talking about archetypes and how she was breaking it down for me like, people in your life take on these archetypes. And 14-year-old me on LSD is starting to think about all the times in my life that I moved from school to school to school and how I just continued seeing the same type of person each school. I went to 10 different I went to a lot of different schools growing up because I moved around a lot. And every single time I would see the same people, the same energy. And I just reasoned that that's how it was, and that's how it is. But me asking those questions on LSD that day had unveiled a lot of that for me. Okay, because I had a mystical experience in my barn, because I connected to compassion into my heart, I really wanted to know about tarot for some reason. I was just interested in it and interested in how I could read people's minds and make myself levitate. And I was really into telekinesis and hypnosis back then as well. I wanted to do it all. But that led me on a path of self-discovery, of discovery of philosophy, of Zen, of Buddhism, of Hinduism, of Islam, of Christianity. I went to the churches with my mother. I went to the mosque and the temple, and I went to all the places, and I was starting to understand the universal laws back then. We listened to Bob Proctor and Abraham Hicks and the law of attraction back then. I was only 14, 15 years old doing this stuff. And, all this stuff was starting to come into my head. But along the way, the tarot cards were just this tool. At the beginning when I was 14, 15, 16, they were just a small tool that I didn't really know about them. I didn't know about the archetypes or the major or minor arcana or anything like that. But then I got my first deck. And it was 78 cards. It was the Rider-Waite deck. I remember it had like the cross hatches on the back. I think I still have it locked up in my closet somewhere, and I use it every so often. But that was my first one. All 78 cards I didn't know jack about. Nothing. And so every day I woke up, I would draw one card, I would study the card, I would study the reversed meaning, I would figure out, okay, what is this, what is this? I had my little journal with the wands and the cups and the coins and all the stuff, and I would just start doing that. But I'm telling you, it was inspired action. I didn't really trust the cards then, and I wasn't going to at that point until I researched everything. I wanted to know all the intricate meanings of all these cards. I wanted to know, how does it work? What is the intricacies of it? Where did it come from? Before I was so ready to just sign my name to it and just become a part of it. And so this went on for like a couple years where I was just, drawing cards, looking at the cards, studying the cards, and learning the universal laws. And this is where I was developing my skill, my real skill. And after a couple years of that, I turned, 16, 17 years old, and my mom and me started doing pop-up markets. And I would do 3 card readings, past, present, future, for free. Well, actually, we started at $5. We would do $5 a pop. And we would get a line all the way to the back, and then we started doing $10, and we had to, we would have lines, and then we just started doing it for free, tip based or whatever. But anyways, it was so fun. I never thought about the money. I never thought about like what was going on. I was just a kid, you know. All of it was going to helping with bills and helping with all this stuff. Um, but but it was fun, and I didn't realize what I was doing. I didn't realize how powerful it was that I was reading for these people, and you know, even thinking back to it today, it's so strange to me because I'm like, wow, you know, I was just that old and I was reading for people and I was getting reactions and confirmation even back then in person reading for these people. And so I did that for years, and it was just this thing, this hobby on the side. Um, yeah. And honestly, it was a hobby on the side that I made money from every weekend, and then all of a sudden I moved in with a girlfriend, and I sort of just put it down. I kept that one deck. I had one more deck. Every so often I would go to the cards to ask for clarity, ask for intention, ask for all this stuff. But then I would just put them down for like weeks at a time, months at a time. And eventually I picked them back up. And eventually I picked them back up, and when I rekindled my relationship with the cards, that's when I really started to get the insights, when the wisdom started to pile in. And I feel that it's because I had to, you know, integrate myself more in the real world and have more experiences in the real world before I could gain that wisdom. But that's what happened. That's just what happened. And, you know, you can reason it as anything that you want to reason it as, but that's what happened to me. So going back to my point, which is, why do I trust the tarot cards? Well, I did learn a lot of universal laws, and I'm going to start applying those. And that's what I did back then. I would apply those laws to my life. So first of all, we live in a quantum reality. Time is relative. Our experience is attracted by us, right? And there's two ways to determine what your vibrational frequency is. One of the ways is to look outside yourself. What have you attracted? What have you manifested? And the other way is to look within. How do I feel? Okay, and this is an Abraham Hicks thing. This is more, it's like a self-reflection thing. Okay, as within, so without. That's the universal law. As within, so without. So if it's outside of you, if it's manifested already, then that means that it's a vibration that you have been on. You don't have to necessarily be on that vibration now that you're manifested, but that's where you were, and that's why it's manifested now. So how does this relate to tarot cards? Tarot cards are made of images, okay? There's 78 images. A picture is worth 1,000 words, which means that any image can be interpreted in any number of ways. That's why I love symbols, okay? And that's another thing that I studied, symbols, because tarot cards are literally that. They're symbols. It's a bunch of symbols packed into one picture. So it's like 1,000 pictures worth 1,000 words. Well, what if you take 100 symbols and you pack it into a card? Each symbol is worth 1,000 words. Any card can be interpreted in any way, like many, many, many different ways the cards can be interpreted. So why does that matter? Well, okay. My reasoning is that if one of the indicators of what my vibration is what I'm attracting outside of myself, then if I pull a tarot card, I flip over a card, that image is a reflection of what is going on within myself. And in order to have this belief system, I have to be very strong in my faith, because it's like everything outside of myself is attracted by me. And part of that, you know, getting your readings more accurate as a reader is taking more accountability and responsibility for your life, knowing that you are the creator and that you have created every single event, person, idea, thought, feeling that you are experiencing here and now. And the more accountability and responsibility you take for your life, the more clear those cards are going to come out. And it's like I've tested it time and time again. The more I am distancing myself from that responsibility and accountability that I have created my circumstances, the less clear my readings are, right? And that's because the clarity within isn't there. So anything outside of your, like anything within you will manifest outside into those cards. And what I love about the cards is it's just packaged up. Because your life is your tarot card. The way your house looks is your tarot card. And that's on feng shui. The way your business looks, the way your car looks, all of it is your tarot card. And it is a symbol. It is a diorama for how your life is going. Okay? And so treat your whole life as a tarot card. Build your spaces as a tarot card. Build your car clean your car like it's a tarot card, because every single sign of impurity is a reflection of what's going on inside of you, okay? And I'm getting like, okay, that's the interesting thing too. When I start talking about tarot and stuff, I get into this mode where I just want to inform, educate, entertain. I want to give this knowledge that I'm receiving. So why I trust the tarot? Well, it is a reflection exactly of the inner world. And I believe that with the law of attraction being a thing, we cannot attract a reading, we cannot attract an image that is not us. And so that's why I trust the tarot, and that's why I do tarot reading. Partially because it's just something that has been in my life for a long time, and something that I've studied, and something that has worked as a tool for me for like as many years as it has, and partially because of just the actual fundamental like science and art of it. Like I just like that as well. Not only do I have a personal relationship with it, but it actually works with my philosophy and my fundamental belief system in the world. And, you know, I also believe that whatever you're attracting right now, you don't have to keep attracting. So if you're currently manifesting something, cool. But, and that's why I like tarot reading. And that's what my tarot readings sort of are, right? It's showing you what your current attraction is. The pictures on the board, on the table, they tell me what you're attracting. They tell me what I'm attracting. And so I combine what I'm attracting with universal laws and principles and spirit's guidance to strategize a way to better the circumstances that I see on the table. Okay? So why do I read tarot? All those reasons that I stated. Why do I trust tarot? Because it works with my fundamental belief system. And how do I do it? Well, that's how I do it. I hope this has been educational to you, informative, and yeah, let me know in the comments if this was helpful or if you have any questions so that I can make more videos like this about tarot reading, psychic energy, any stuff like that, okay? Namaste, and bye-bye.